get into some reviews. First, with the recent release this weekend, of course, the most anticipated movie of everyone who has taste for the whole year. It's Dune. It's exciting. It's finally released, just in theaters. So go check it out there. Yeah. So as lots of people know, I had high expectations going into this, and somehow it managed to surpass them. I can't um, put words to the way I felt leaving the theater. It is such a huge spectacle. It's an epic, I don't know, I don't think we've seen anything like this probably since Lord of the Rings, to be honest. It's very, very epic. It felt like the emotions I had leaving it may be similar to how people felt leaving Lord of the Rings or Star Wars for the first time. It's just eye-opening, and very just I don't know. It's hard to put words to it. It's just wow, it's an epic. But I think one of the big things with this movie is the realism. There are certain directors who go for realism, like Nolan. I don't think anyone does it as well as Denis does, to be honest. I think this movie takes place in the year 10,190 or something. And I felt like he literally time traveled to that point on those planets and filmed it. There's not a single thing that feels intangible, that feels like it wouldn't be real. I think a lot of that has to do with he shot with lots of what's the word, practical effects instead of visual effects. The production design is amazing. Everything technical wise, wow. I think everyone, even if they don't like the movie, has to admit it is a technical, a huge technical achievement. It's just such a grand film. Performance wise, Timmy is good as always. He gives a good performance. He does what he needs to do as the lead here. What I've noticed in a lot of these movies lately, the lead is often not the standout. That's just kind of the way it is sometimes. So he's not the standout, but he does a really good job. Jason Momoa did a surprisingly good job. I would say this is his best performance yet. He's insanely likable as this character. He just brings this charisma that no one else in the movie really has. Lots of these characters are in emotional states, and he's just this very charismatic guy, which makes him stand out. Then also I would say Rebecca Ferguson, of course. I would say this is her best performance yet. She was amazing in Doctor Sleep. I know you have a place in your heart for that movie. But I would say this is my favorite performance of hers. She was a huge standout. She got a lot to work with here. I think the most she's ever been given as an actress to work with, which is good for her because usually she's given supporting roles. And this is close to a co-lead, especially in the second half. So yeah, she is really, really good. And all the powers she has with her voice and stuff, very, very cool. You can see a lot of the influence that Star Wars took from this, even though people are going to be like, oh, this is similar to Star Wars, even though Star Wars took from this, which is kind of sad to think for Dune. Poor Dune. But yeah, the score is incredible. I've been listening to it nonstop ever since it released. Especially you're not gonna know what this means, but the Gom Jabbar scene score with the needle to his neck is just an amazing piece of scoring. So yeah, Hans Zimmer, he's coming for that Oscar. No one else is going to come close to this level of score this year. Really, really good. The Bene Gesserit in general are just stood out to me as such a fascinating group of people, more so than any of the other houses or different warriors or such, or the Fremen or whatever. The Bene Gesserit were really, really cool, especially in the costume design with their veils, and there was an odd religious aspect to them. So they were really cool. The pacing, I've seen lots of people complain about this. It's not paced like a normal blockbuster, and I'm sorry, people, you're gonna have to deal with that. Not everything has to follow the same boring blockbuster formula. This has its big climax about like an hour and 20 minutes in, and then a lot of the movie is um, a what do you call it? Like a denouement, I believe is the professional word for it. For the rest of the movie, where it just slows down and there's not as much conflict. But I think he chose a really good place to end this movie. Also, a lot of complaints I've seen, like, oh, it's just a part one and it doesn't tell its own story. This tells its own story. I'm sorry. Where was this energy for Infinity War? Um, this tells as much of a complete story as it can. It's half of a book, and it ends at a part where you clearly see how much the lead character of Paul has changed from the beginning of the movie to the end, and it's complete in that journey. And then you see where he could potentially go further in the future, and that's how the best you can really do at completing one story and then also teasing it for the future. Just like Fellowship of the Ring did the same thing. I don't know why it's such a big deal for this movie for some reason, but oh well, I think it's a complete story. Yeah, if you're a Zendaya fan, this is like kind of clickbait. This is the closest I've seen to clickbait for like a movie. Pretty much all of her scenes are in the trailers, and I find that hilarious. Zendaya fans have truly been baited into seeing this movie, and I just find that funny.
Jack, don't tell them that because there's a
Well,
lot of them.
hopefully they've already seen it. So yeah.
Judging by the box office, they kind of haven't. So we need more of
Well,
them too.
okay, Zendaya fans, she's in it. She's in the first scene. How about that? So yeah, go
Yeah.
watch it. But yeah, overall, this is easily my favorite movie of this whole year so far. It has usurped A Quiet Place Part Two for that spot. It is really just such. I know I said this with No Time to Die, but I feel this even more so with this. This is what we should be doing with these huge, expensive blockbuster movies. Not, no offense, Marvel, the same thing so many times. I know people love it. I like a lot of them too. But this is like changing potentially cinema and like opening a lot of people's eyes to like what can really be done with that amount of money on the big screen. So see it
Well,
on the big
Tenet did
screen.
that too, to a degree.
It did
I know you
not.
didn't like it, but where have you seen that before?
This has dragonfly ships, Ben. We have never seen dragonfly ships before, okay? So
Yeah, we've
Dune.
never seen a space movie before. Never.
We've never seen a space movie like this since Star Wars. And I think this Star Wars doesn't have a feeling of realism to it. Star Wars is a it's not a sci-fi film. Star Wars is a fantasy. Um,
Mm,
this is a sci-fi film. This feels real. This feels more like Game of Thrones in space than it does like Star Wars, which is
mm,
so good. If you like Game of Thrones, you'll like this movie. Dune should be the next big sci-fi franchise. So yeah, that's
mm.
Dune. Really good movie. Go check it out, everyone. Yeah. Hello, Jack from the future here. I was just looking back on that review, and I quickly want to also shout out Sharon Duncan Brewster as Dr. Leah Kynes. She was incredible. Really, this is the first thing I've seen her in, and she deserves this to be a breakout role for her. And then, what's his name? Stephen McKinley Henderson as Thufir. I thought those like android, computer, human knowledgeable people were really cool. He's a great character actor. If he's in a movie, I think it's going to be a good movie. And I wish we got to see more of him, more of both of those people. Did a really good job with the small roles that they were given. And then finally, Oscar prospects here. I forgot to do that as well as a rating. Pretty much it's going to be nominated for so many technicals: cinematography, score, production design, probably costume design, sound, editing, I know I'm probably missing other technicals. I think it'll be nominated in adapted screenplay. I think it'll sneak in there just because so many people think, oh, Dune is so hard to adapt and everything, and then people thought it was impossible to adapt, and then here is Denis as well as Eric Roth and other people who were actually able to adapt it properly, and as well as director. I think it'll win director. I'm still sticking on that train. Denis is going to win director, and 100% it gets into picture. So yeah, it's gonna win wise. It's gonna win a lot of those technicals. I'm not completely. It'll definitely win sound. Could win editing. Um, Visual effects. Obviously, I don't know if I mentioned that. It'll win score. That's like four right there already. And I could see it winning others like production design. So yeah, and grade wise, this is a rare 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely adored it. I have really no complaints or flaws that really impacted it for me at all. So yeah, this is the first 10 out of 10 for the year for me. I think I only had one last year, and this is my first for this year. So yeah, that's Dune. Go check it out.